Did you know that Windows users can still screenshot DRM-protected content, while Mac users are left in the dark? Stick around to find out why this is causing a stir in the tech world. Welcome to the Apple Daily News. This podcast is created by generative AI. Today is March 2nd, 2025, and we've got a lot to unpack about Apple's latest controversies, updates, and challenges. Let's kick things off with a hot topic in the world of digital rights management, or DRM. Nora Delicta's essay sheds light on the growing frustration among Apple users who can no longer take screenshots of DRM-protected videos from platforms like Netflix and HBO Max. While Mac users face a complete blackout when attempting this, Windows users can still use tools like the snipping tool without any issues. This discrepancy raises eyebrows, especially since Apple's tightly integrated hardware and software enforce these restrictions at a low level, unlike Windows' more flexible imaging pipeline. Delicta argues that these restrictions don't effectively combat piracy, but instead alienate legitimate users who simply want to capture high-quality images. It's a classic case of balancing content protection with user accessibility, and Apple seems to be leaning heavily toward the former. Next up, let's talk about privacy, or the lack thereof, in iMessage. A cryptography blog has called out Apple for not offering a disappearing messages feature, something that's already standard on platforms like WhatsApp and Signal. While iMessage boasts end-to-end encryption, messages remain on devices indefinitely unless manually deleted, and they're automatically backed up to iCloud. This creates a digital archive that could compromise user privacy. The blog suggests that Apple's reluctance to implement this feature might stem from government pressure or technical challenges. For a company that prides itself on user security, this omission feels like a glaring oversight. Will 2025 be the year Apple finally addresses this? Only time will tell. Now let's dive into the backlash surrounding the redesigned Apple Mail app in iOS 18. The update introduced categorized sections like primary, transactions, and promotions, along with contact photos for senders. While this might sound like a step forward, many users are calling it cluttered and confusing. Social media is buzzing with complaints, and some are even reverting to the previous layout. If you're among the dissatisfied, here's a quick fix. Switch from Categories View to List View via the three-dot menu in the app, and toggle off Show Contact Photos in the Settings app. While these tweaks can help, the redesign has left a sour taste for many. Maybe it's time for Apple to rethink its approach to email organization. In legal news, Apple is facing a lawsuit over its claims that the Apple Watch Series 9, SE, and Ultra 2 are carbon neutral. 7 consumers have filed the suit, alleging that Apple's reliance on carbon offset projects in Kenya and China doesn't hold up to scrutiny. They argue that these projects would have reduced carbon emissions regardless of Apple's involvement, making the carbon neutral label misleading. Apple, however, stands by its claims, emphasizing its efforts to reduce emissions and invest in nature-based solutions. This case highlights the growing scrutiny of corporate environmental claims and raises questions about the legitimacy of carbon offsetting practices. It's a story worth watching as it unfolds. Finally, let's turn to the UK, where the government has reportedly ordered Apple to create a backdoor for its iCloud service. This demand follows updates to the Investigatory Powers Act in 2024, which expanded surveillance capabilities. In response, Apple has withdrawn its advanced data protection feature for UK users, a move that has sparked significant backlash. Privacy advocates warn that this could set a dangerous precedent, weakening encryption standards globally. The US is also investigating whether the UK's actions violate the Cloud Act, which protects citizen data from foreign demands. This situation underscores the ongoing tension between national security and individual privacy rights, and its implications could be far-reaching. That's all for today's episode of the Apple Daily News. As always, links to all the stories we covered can be found in the episode notes. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time for more updates from the world of Apple. Stay curious and stay informed.